I'm Steve Grabner. I'm a junior psychology major, and I'm running for the president position.
Marianne Nelligan. I'm a junior in English major, writing, and I'm running for vice president.
I'm Melinda Niebel. I'm a sophomore running for treasurer.
So the first thing that I want to ask you guys about is all of the ticket names are unique this year. So how did you guys come up with Towson Triforce?
I mean, we were all kind of sitting together and realized after a little bit of hunting that it was just down to the three of us and three core values, three people. How can we play that to our strength? And played around Tri, Three, and eventually we settled on Triforce. And we were like, is that what we're going to go with? But after mulling it over, it kind of really rang true.
We're also big fans of Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, we understand the reference.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, I'm glad. Well, thank you, because some people are like, that's Zelda, right? And we're like, yes, we know. That's the point. But
so
it seems to work.
Yeah.
It seemed to work really well with the try.
So since the debate's coming up on Tuesday, what are going to be some of the issues that you guys are wanting to cover and wanting to try to accomplish next year, both as a ticket together and like each of you separately?
I don't know, do you guys want to start?
I would say definitely there's three main points. We want to support responsible student leadership, which we will elaborate on in a little bit. And then we also want to develop more diversity and then support and then foster campus community, which I think is one of the biggest ones right now, especially with the issues with chalking and there's a lot of tension in the community. And I feel that a lot of the community comes from the residence halls and that URG really could build that sense of community a lot. And we'd like to put the name URG out there more, provide a safe environment, let residents really get together, have a community, share diverse ideas, and really just try to make Towson more of a family environment.
Yeah, to continue on that, for fostering a campus community, we do want to increase the feel of the pride in the residence halls, and I think that really does start in the halls as freshmen and sophomores come into campus. The majority of them are living on campus. When they see that a lot of people go home, people aren't going out to the games, and they're not excited about being Towson, it's a full cycle. And so we really do want to help encourage that, and we see that's kind of like an issue that has increased this year. The leaders aren't taking initiative on their own, kind of left to other people and a few individuals. We want to diversify that leadership to everyone.
Are there any like individual goals that you all have? If like let's say that it was to be like a split ticket vote, like what would be one of the things that you would like to do individually?
Well, as for vice president, I would primarily work with the GA, General Assembly. So just taking care of the building reps and making sure that the events that are thrown with their building councils are much more focused not on maybe meet and greets and food, but maybe more diversity and interaction that will be much more developmental throughout the semester than just grabbing some food and this going. And also I think the resident outreach committee at the beginning of the year we handed out bottles and try to get URG's name out to all the freshmen, and I think that's really important for upcoming freshmen to know what URG is, and actually on-campus students, because a lot of students don't know what URG is. So just spreading the name and what we actually do, our purpose.
And some of the bigger things, you ask a resident, we sat there during our campaign process and asked people, what do you want to see changed on campus? Majority of them, major concerns throughout the board is dining. And so there has been some changes this semester, opening pause till 2 a.m. during the week, closing outtakes in West Village till, I'm not even sure when it closes now. 11. And there's a lot of animosity towards how dining is reacting to the students. Increasing the transparency in between so the students know what's going on. There's been changes in West Village where it's kind of like individual stations and there's no rotation. That's how the cooks want it set up, but the students don't know that. They see daily selection, and the daily selection is the same thing every day. So increasing some of that connection and looking at the current dining hours and see what's effective and what's not to please both the dining staff with their need to staff the dining halls and the students who want to eat at various hours throughout the day.
And I'd say definitely as treasurer, one of the main things I'd like to do is make the resources available to all students, that if there's an individual student that has an event idea or something that they'd like to see changed on campus, they can just go to their building council, maybe just for that one event, and see if that's what they'd like. Or if they'd like to have more items available in the CC, they can, their CC desks, they can feel free going to the building council. Just more, like everybody's been saying, echoing the transparency with resources, with availability of things. Don't make any kind of, I mean, I think the URG financial system is relatively easy to understand right now, but make sure that more than just the treasurer of every building understands it, so that if anybody wants to try to get money or get resources, that they can, and that everything's very open, and that URG is a resource, not just some secluded organization that people sometimes hear about when they're picking up a donut or something.
So, since you guys are just a 3-person ticket, and a lot of the other tickets are like, I mean, not saying that that's better or worse, but a lot of the other tickets are like 7, 8 people. So do you think that just being 3 people, do you think that makes you a stronger ticket, since you all are likely to have like stronger stances as a group? Or do you think that kind of puts you at just like a numbers disadvantage?
We're aware that as the 3-person, we're strong together, and we also know that under the beyond the 3, we have to vote on one ticket or the other. So we're aware that we are working with people from the other tickets. There's no animosity held towards them, and we're still very friendly to them. And so, but we're trying to keep together as a core to the main values, if that makes sense.
I agree. I think it's really important for URG to have, I mean, or really any organization, the positions that we want to hold, vice president, president, and treasurer, are really the core of the organization. And from there, I mean, every year we've done in building council, we have to work with people we don't know. It's not, we don't go into building councils with tickets. We go in as individuals, and from there we learn to work with people. So I don't think it's going to be, I think it'll be great, and I don't think they anticipate any kind of problem working with other tickets, especially with the 3 of us having such a strong ideology and things we want to put forward. And one of the main things all 3 of us want to put forward is communication and working with others. So it'll be great when we get to finally integrate with another ticket and share all of our ideas and really make a lot of changes in URG.
We just thought it would be best to stick just the 3 of us, and not, because we know we're strong together, and we're confident we're working with other people.
So, I just lost my train of thought. I'm really sorry.
It's fine. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So, Steve, you mentioned it a little bit, but being in URG is voicing or getting concerns from like other students on campus. So outside of dining, have you guys heard any other major student concerns that you want to address?
Beyond dining, people want change in the gym. They want more gym hours. They want a separate gym. What I've heard, people would very much enjoy a just cardio gym with ellipticals and treadmills. But I feel like I'm trying to think of some of the other ideas that I had off the top of my head. A lot of the issues don't come to building council. They don't come to URG. They're voiced to, they're grumbled to your friends. Other outlets, they're not brought to the building councils. And I think that's one of the core issues, is that people talk about it without going to the people who might have the power to change something. I know that there was one person wrote about quiet hours in residence halls. I wouldn't know who that would be. But you give them the opportunity to come to the building council, have a forum. They said in the building council meeting, let's have a chance for residents to come and talk about this issue. And I raised my hand. I said, that's the meeting of building council, to voice the residents. You're representing not yourself but the building. So go into some other issues that we've heard in the past.
Definitely, I don't think there's any major overlapping thing. I'd say there's a lot of other smaller issues after dining hours. I know people wanted more library hours. They want better reception and
Less fish in the koi pond.
Less fish in the Pretty Borough Pond. Just smaller issues that they want to have more. I know a lot of people complain that they don't know what's in the CC desks. They're like, oh, I had no idea that there are movies there, cooking supplies. So I guess making residents aware of the things that they do have there, and then just other issues come up from time to time that are smaller. But again, like Steve was saying, that people don't really voice their concerns a lot. They don't really let building councils individually, and maybe same thing with building the community, getting more residents involved, that they'll be like, oh, hey, you're URG,
I feel like
you
it's
can do
something, sometimes people think that if they have a concern, like it's something that they can express, or if they do express it, it won't get changed. And I think that's what we really want to hit up on. Like, you can change things if you actually express your concerns to other people who can try to help you out.
So, with the current URG executive board, I know the offices like president, vice president, treasurer, I believe they're all seniors, and then the secretary is choosing not to return to the organization next year. So, the major office positions are going to turn over no matter what.
Mhm.
So, what do you think are going to be some of the challenges that, like, if all three of you are elected, what are going to be some of the challenges without having anyone else in the major positions who have been there before?
If all three of us are elected, there would be no current exec board on the new exec board.
Right.
But in that, we have a transition period in between now and when they graduate at the end of the year. We're going to be very open to changing that and figuring out what issues they've run into. It's going to rely a lot on communication. You shouldn't need someone on the current exec board to transition into a new exec board and for it to be effective. If not, that's something wrong with the transition process.
Also, to add to that, I'd say that all of us have been in URG for several years now, so we all really understand the positions we're going into. Also, URG has really great advisors, and the transition period from the old exec board explaining to the new one, and I really think that we're all very qualified for our positions, and we really will not have any problem picking it up.
Yeah, especially I guess the GA is like the main focus, I think, of URG, because that's where we really like lay out like all the, building council problems and like building council like events that they are trying to like, promote. And I think all of us, Steve especially, and me, and Melinda, we've all sat on GAs, and Steve especially this year, like he's technically not, he doesn't have to go to the GAs, but he still does. And as a building rep, I sit on GAs, and so I understand like parliamentary procedure and like how the GAs are run. So I think we have a really good understanding of like the contract and what we're supposed to do.
So my last question is, if just a random student on campus was to come up to any of you and say, why does Towson Triforce make for the best ticket on the URG elections, what would any of your answers be?
I would say because Towson Triforce is the best ticket on campus, because we do have such strong ideology, we work well together, we have great ideas for URG, we really see a different direction for the organization, that we all really want to have URG be much more of a resource instead of just a separate group, that we want to open it up to residents, because it says in the URG Constitution that every resident on campus is a member of URG, and we really want to make residents feel like that's true. Because the funding from URG comes from the students. It's really a student organization. People think, oh, I don't want to join URG, I don't want to pay student fees, I'm not a member of that, but they are members of it, they already are participating in it. I'd like to get them involved and get their say in the organization that's made up of them already.
Yeah, just stressing the fact of listening and hearing their say. We're here to listen to them since day one, since we started, very open to whatever they're saying, listening to what they're complaining about, what you would like to see changed. We've always asked that, and we always will continue to ask that. And I think that's something that's been lost in the past couple of years, and we're going to try to bring that back.
Okay, well, that's all my questions, but do you guys have anything else that you'd like to add?
I mean, I guess we can just reiterate our ideology points, just so we had that clear, because we kind of jumped in between that. The first one we want to do was foster a sense of campus community, that Justin is around pride and caring about what we're doing on campus. When you have people who care about on campus, they're more active or more likely to get involved. It's kind of a step-by-step process. That's the first step of general campus community, and then we kind of move to our second step, which is
Developing responsible student leaders. That's really important, and not just if you're elected a building rep or if you're elected vice president to call yourself a leader, but to actually like follow you with that transition and like actually like take on responsibilities that will make you a leader.
And then also developing diversity, like not just with so many things in URG, with different ideas, not just having like social programs, but having a lot more educational and diversity programs, and pulling in other organizations, working with other groups like LASSO or Queer Student Union or things like that, so that it's not just like a splash of diversity every like couple months with an event, so that like the diversity is really integrated into the community and people are informed and understand and are excited to work with different kinds of people, and they really want to have a supportive community.
so that's just our base ideology. Wanted to let you know that.
Okay,